Hello students, I am Dr. Kumud Ranjan Singh and I have been guiding the civil services aspirants since the year 2002. I will be there with you for this Indian Polity section of the General Studies paper. And in this lecture, we will be talking that how we should approach the Indian Polity section of the General Studies paper from the prelims point of view. Now, basically, as it is my first interaction with you, I like to tell you certain basic things about the section that is the Indian Polity and governance. You see that the first idea that comes in our mind or in the minds of the students when they read the subject or they see the subject Indian Polity is that Indian Polity is only about the provisions of the Constitution. We'll have to learn all the articles of the Constitution. We'll have to mug them up or not. Now, basically, if we talk about the Indian Polity section, the Indian Polity is not only about the articles of the Constitution. It is more than that. You'll have to go beyond the provisions of the Constitution. No doubt, the articles are important, but you are not supposed to mug up the articles of the Constitution. You'll have to develop an understanding of the various provisions of the Constitution. Gradually, we will be coming to this part. Now, when we talk about the Indian Polity section of the General Studies paper, we need to look into certain things. First of all, coming to the philosophy. What is the basic idea behind these lectures? I hope and I am sure now that the Pulse book is there with you. Now, when you read the content of the Pulse book that is there with you, you may not be able to understand many of the aspects which are there in your book. For example, in your book, the provisions related to the passage of the bills will be there. But when you read it, you have read it, you may have underlined it also, but you may not have understood it. I will be helping you out in understanding certain conceptual things, like how the bill is passed in the parliament. When you read the things from the Pulse book, you will be able to correlate it. And when you read it, when you see the lectures, all in a nutshell will be there with you. So, the objective of this lecture is to develop in you an understanding of the Indian Polity section. Because reading is something different, and what is more important is reading between the lines. So the lines are there, but reading between the lines is more important. So these lectures will help you to develop an understanding, because we will be stressing on this aspect. Then the philosophy is to develop an understanding in you, to develop an aptitude in you, so that you will be able to understand the lines. Not only you can say, you can read the lines, develop an understanding about the different aspects. Now, what is the strategy that we will be following while reading the Indian Polity section, so that basically we will be able to answer the questions which are asked in the examination? Our target is, with the help of the Pulse book and with the help of the lecture notes combined, you will be able to answer nearly 80 to 85% of the questions which will be asked in the preliminary examination. What I said? 80 to 85%. So, here, reading between the lines, developing an understanding, and on the basis of the lecture notes plus the Pulse book, you will be able to answer at least 80 to 85% of the questions in the preliminary examination. That is our objective. Now, to realize this objective, we will have to develop the correct strategy. Now, first of all, there are 4 components of our strategy. The first strategy will be to decode the syllabus. Now, when we decode the syllabus, first of all, if we analyze the syllabus of Indian polity and governance, the constitutional part. Now here, if we talk about the constitutional part, you see, in this Indian polity section, 2 broad aspects are there. First, the philosophical aspects, and then the governmental aspects. In the philosophical aspects, the preamble, the fundamental rights, the directive principles of state policy, and the fundamental duties. Philosophical aspects. The preamble contains the philosophy of the whole constitution. Then fundamental rights, they are also philosophical in nature. What is a philosophy? Who is a philosopher? He imagines. If the world is like this, if the people will do like this, then the world will be like this. The state shall not discriminate among the citizens. So if the state will not discriminate among the citizens, then there will be equality. Then the directive principles of state policies. It is also philosophical in nature. Why? The state shall strive to secure. What the state shall strive to do? If the state will do this, then the ideal of welfareism can be achieved. If then. And fundamental duties. They are also philosophical in nature. To renounce the practices derogatory to women. If we will renounce the practices derogatory to women, then what will be achieved? There will be dignity for women that will be achieved. And to realize these philosophical aspects, in the constitution we have got the governmental aspects. The Constitution of India talks about three types of government. Union government, state governments, and local self-government. The local self-government. And the union, state, the executive, legislature, and judiciary at both the levels. Then center-state relations. There is what should be the guiding principle of the union government and the state government, how the relations will be shaped up. Then institutions, like the CAG, Election Commission, then Public Service Commissions, and many other institutions which are required to run the government. Then some miscellaneous topics are also there, like creation of a new state, citizenship, emergency provisions, etc. And local government at the rural level and at the urban level. Both. So, this is basically your synopsis. That is, under the Indian polity and the constitution, we can, and the governance, basically, when we talk about the constitutional aspect, what we will be discussing? We'll be discussing the philosophical aspects. We will be discussing the governmental aspects. That is, the understanding part is to be there. So basically if you see constitution, then political system, panchayati raj, public policy, rights issues, etc. So basically here this is our preliminary syllabus that I had discussed with you. General. So there is the decoding of the syllabus. So the detailed topic wise we can say the bifurcation will be available to you. Now coming to this PYQ trends. So when we make the we can say the strategy, first of all what we are going to read in the Indian polity section, on what topics we need to stress. So we need to stress on the preamble, the fundamental rights, directive principles of state policy, fundamental duties. Then governmental aspects will be stressing on will be emphasizing on these aspects. So we have decoded the syllabus. Then when we talk about the trend analysis, the students generally ask me that, sir, how many questions are asked in the preliminary examination from the Indian polity section? I tell only one thing to my students, that dear, the only trend that the UPSC has got, that it has got no trend. What I said? The only trend that the UPSC has got is that it has got no trend. You see that if we talk about the trend, in 2024, 18 questions were asked. In 2013, 15 questions were asked. 2022, 11 questions were asked. Then 2021, 17. 2020, 16. And you see in 2018, even 11 questions were asked in the examination. So here if you see that in the examination, even 22 questions have been asked on the higher side, and at the lower side if you see, then even 11 questions were asked. 11 in 2018, 2017, 22, half. Then again you see 11 questions were asked in 2022. So we cannot exactly say that these many questions will be asked, but yes, a sizable number of questions are being asked from the Indian polity section. Means 10 or more than 10 questions. And now if we talk about the topic wise analysis, here if you talk about the first one, evolution of the constitution, constitutional terms, historical making, then it depends. Last year in 2024, in the last preliminary examination, a very simple question was asked. What was that question? It was related to the temporary presiding officer or the temporary president of the Constituent Assembly. The name of Dr. Sachidanand Sinha was asked. So it completely depends here in 2019 and 2020. No questions were asked from this part. But this year, last year, a very simple question was asked from here. Then if you talk about another trend, from the philosophical part of the constitution, that is what I said, the philosophical part, you see the questions which are being asked are numerous. 2024, 2023, 2022, 2021 and 2028, even 9 questions here, 5 questions here. It means that we cannot ignore the philosophical part. 7 questions here in 2020. So the preamble, fundamental rights, directive principles, fundamental duties. You cannot ignore this aspect. Very important. And even in the worst days means when the least number of questions were asked from the Indian polity section, you see that questions have been asked from here. Then when we talk about the union executive, from the union executive we have seen that lesser questions have been asked. Sometimes no questions have been asked in the prelims examination. See, in 2024, no questions. Then in 2020, no questions. But another area on which we will be focusing is the legislature. And even in the worst days means when the least number of questions are asked from the Indian polity section, we have seen the questions have been asked from the parliament and the state legislature. In the last preliminary examination, 7 questions were asked from here. And you will not see 0 here. You will not see 0 here. And judiciary and tribunals, we can say just sometimes the questions can be asked, sometimes the questions may not be asked. Then federalism also we have seen some questions will be asked. It depends. Then local self-government, emergency provisions, 1 or 2 questions can be asked. And another area which cannot be ignored is there is schedules, doctrines, states, union territory, citizenship. We have seen sizable number of questions from time to time. So here basically if you see, then the emphasis philosophical part, the legislative part, that is the parliament, state legislature, the focus is on 2 aspects. Yes, questions have been asked from here and there. That is why we will not be ignoring any of the topics. We will be discussing all the aspects in accordance with the need of the examination. So you see the latest trend. Least number is 11, I had told you, and 22 questions have been asked, and even 18 questions have been asked. So the range is 22 to 18. So Indian polity basically is very important strategically from the prelims point of view. Now when we talk about the analysis of the previous year questions, in the beginning when I started my talk with you, what I had said, that the students generally ask me that, sir, whether we'll have to remember all the articles of the Constitution. But my answer is no. Because I don't know, it is a misconception among most of the trainers as well as among the students also, that the Indian polity is only about the articles or the provisions of the Constitution. That we'll have to mug up all the articles, we'll have to remember all the articles. No, it's not like that. There's a logic behind it. You see, it is not a quiz contest that you will be asked questions. What is Article 2? What is Article 3? What is Article 61? It's not like that. It is not a quiz contest. It is not general knowledge. It is general studies. The understanding of the provisions of the Constitution will be required. For example, which of the following is correct regarding the creation of a new state? Now, with the help of this smart board, if I discuss with you the process for the creation of a new state, and then I will say, okay, it is mentioned in Article 3 of the Constitution, for you, understanding the process will be more important than mugging up the article number. If you just read Article 3, Article 3, Article 3 from the book, you will not be able to understand it. But with the help of the smart board, if I make you understand, okay, this is the process how a new state is created, that is more important to you. Reading between the lines, understanding between the lines. Now, article-based questions are not asked. And what we have observed is that the questions which are basically asked from the Indian Polity section, if we do the PPYQ analysis, then the first area from where the questions are asked in the examination, it is the political system. Political systems. Questions are asked from the parliamentary system, which of the following is a feature or are the feature of a parliamentary system? 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4, only 1, such type of questions are asked. Then federal system. Which of the following is an essential condition of a true federation? 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4, such type of questions are asked from the political system. Be sure, one question will definitely be asked from here. Then another trend that we have seen is your basic understanding of the concepts. The concept of constitution. The UPSC is very popular, is very, we can say, fond of asking such question. Which of the following is the objective of the constitution? Which of the following is true regarding constitutionalism? Such type of questions. Which of the following correctly explains the concept of state? So, here the conceptual things are asked in the examination. So, after the political system, the conceptual things like the meaning of constitution, the meaning of state, the questions have been asked like that. So, political system, then concepts like constitution, then state, understanding based question. You don't require any article of the constitution to understand. And then the concept of separation of powers, etc. So, this is another area from where the questions are asked in the examination. So, the objective of this lecture is not only to tell you about articles, but to develop in you the aptitude so that you will be able to understand such questions related to the political system and related to the concepts. These are A-grade topics. Then another A-grade topic is the preamble. From where the questions are asked. And the questions will be based on the understanding of the preamble. Which one of the following correctly explains the objective of the preamble? Which one of the following is correct about the preamble? Like the preamble is the soul of the constitution. Then Another area from where the questions are asked from the preamble, that is the cases related to the preamble. The case names will not be there, the statements will be there. That is, which of the following statement is correct? The preamble is the key to understand the minds of the constitution makers. Then another statement, the preamble is not a source of restriction on the government. Such type of understanding based question. The preamble is not directly justiciable in a court of law. So preamble is another topic from where the questions are expected in the examination. And then if we talk about the PPYQ analysis, questions will be there from the fundamental rights, directive principles of state policy, and fundamental duties. Here also understanding based questions. For example, fundamental rights, the interpretations of Article 21 that can be asked in the examination. Then from Article 22, it is not that they will be asking which of the following is correct regarding Article 22. No. The concept of custody, police custody, judicial custody, preventive detention. So such type of understanding based questions will be asked in the examination. Similarly, directive principles of state policy, your basic understanding that which of the following directive principles of state policy aim to achieve the end of economic justice. Such type of questions. From the fundamental duties, the fundamental duties are legally enforceable. There are many laws related to fundamental duties, statements will be there. And then the union government and state government. Here also you see the stress is on the parliament. Most of the questions have been asked from the parliament. So we will be giving importance to that. And then after that, the Panchayati Raj institutions. And local self-government. So from these aspects, the understanding based questions are asked. So when we analyze the previous year questions, we see that the questions have been asked from here, but it is understanding based questions which have been asked from these aspects. Random, vague, article based questions have not been asked from these aspects. Now here, so syllabus wise breakup, I have just given you an idea regarding it. And if we talk about the base, how we will build our knowledge base. For that, you see, we have got the Pulse book for you. We have got this Pulse book for you. So the Pulse book has been designed to make you aware about the changing nature of the questions which are being asked by the UPSC. Gone are the days that you mug up the facts and you will go through the examination, you will compete in the examination. No. Along with the facts, you will have to develop an understanding of it. So our Pulse book basically, they have the handwritten notes, they will help you in getting that knowledge that is required. And in the Pulse book, you see, the things have been very much systematically arranged. First of all, we have got the chapters, then the constitutional provisions have been mentioned. Wherever the extra knowledge is required, that has also been given to you. And along with the Pulse notes, we have the lectures by the mentors also. And I will be your mentor and I will help you in explaining the handwritten notes. But yes, we will not be discussing with you all the facts which is written there. Otherwise, there will be overlapping. So, those aspects which needs understanding, which are a part of your Pulse book but needs understanding, I will be there with you to explain those things to you, to make the things easier for you, because there is a hearing impact also. You can correlate the things. Oh, it is mentioned that a bill is to be passed like this. The teacher had explained it also in the lectures. So, your Pulse handwritten notes plus the lectures of your mentor, that is myself, will help you in developing and understanding. And the final part of your preparation, after you read certain things, it is very easy to say, oh, this book is good. Oh, the lecture was wonderful. But here, what you have gained, how you will test yourself. For that, we present before you the Ignite topic-wise MCQs. After reading the topics, you should go through this topic-wise MCQs. And then your real test will be there. Pulse book plus my lectures. How much you have understood, how you will test that? The MCQs are there topic-wise. It is this Ignite is the only available source. No doubt you will get the questions, but yes, topic-wise questions you will be getting in Ignite only. And so, reading the Ignite, doing the reading the Pulse book, hearing my lectures, and after that, doing the MCQs from the Ignite book. If you need any support, we will always be there with you. Telegram, this is the handle, MH Inquiry. We have the phone number 9821373633. You can reach to us. Our academic counselors will help you out. This number is available on WhatsApp also. And you can email us information@mentorshut.com. We'll always be there for you. So, basically, hope that Pulse book and the lectures will really help you in achieving your goal. Thank you. Have a nice day.